Hello and welcome to the Federal podcast on India versus Australia Test Series. I am Aprameya C of the Federal. Today, on the second day of the first test in Nagpur, India took control of the contest thanks to Captain Rohit Sharma's top-class century and unbeaten 50s from Ravindra Jadeja and Akshar Patel. For Australia, debutant off-spinner Todd Murphy claimed a 5-wicket haul. At close of play, India was 321 for 7 and took a decisive lead of 144 runs. To review the day's play, we are again joined by senior cricket journalist R Kaushik from the match venue in Nagpur. Thanks, Kaushik, for talking to the Federal again.
Hi, Apu. Yeah, it's my pleasure to be on the same show with you.
Yeah. First up, Kaushik, how do you sum up the day, India's domination again on the second day, like it was on the first day?
Yes, I mean, there were periods today also like there had been on the first day when the match seemed to be in the balance. And then I think the quality of Rohit Sharma and the depth in the Indian batting, those are the two decisive factors today. The lack of depth in the Australian bowling also came to the fore because they are playing with only four specialist bowlers, and as the day progressed and you could clearly see Nathan Lyon and Todd Murphy tiring, they ended up serving a lot of short balls which were put away by Ravindra Jadeja and Akshar Patel. But I think to me the star of the show was Rohit. The composure that he showed, the class, obviously we have always associated class with Rohit Sharma, and he batted not without a care in the world. He knew that it was not the easiest of batting conditions, but he somehow found a way to put the conditions out of his mind. There was no predetermination to his method. He was very, very relaxed in his approach. He didn't go looking to manufacture strokes. He was played each ball on its merit, and it was just a complete masterclass.
Right. And this was, in fact, his first test century as captain. This must have been very pleasing for Rohit, isn't it, Kaushik?
Definitely, I'm sure it would mean a lot to him, and the fact that he did not go overboard in his celebration when he reached 3 showed that at that time he felt that the job was far from done, that there's plenty of work ahead in this test match, and that it's not just about individual milestones. Of course, when we say that it's his first century as captain, also it's worth remembering that he's only played 3 test matches as captain till now. 2 of them were against Sri Lanka last March, and then this one now. So it's early days in his captaincy so far as Test cricket is concerned. And there is a very limited sample. But yes, given that it is the first game of the series, given that so much hinges around this series, the fact that there are places at stake in the World Test Championship final, yeah, definitely, I'm sure he will be a delighted man today.
Yeah, and as we mentioned earlier, 2 more stars for India, Ravindra Jadeja and Akshar Patel. The way Jadeja is shaping up, yesterday took 5 wickets and today followed up with an amazing unbeaten half-century. Thoughts on his all-round skills, Kaushik? He's made a comeback now after almost 5 months due to an injury.
Yeah, I mean, we sometimes get carried away with hype and we use phrases like dream comeback. But I think if at all dream comeback applies in any situation, it is here. You spoke just now about how he got those 5 wickets yesterday. Right. He was on top of his game, and today he batted like a proper batsman. If you go back in time and let's say about 3 years back, the problem with Jadeja was that while he had the skills, he never thought of himself as a batsman. He thought of himself as a tailender. And then the fact that he was able to be convinced that he could bat and that he could bat well. I think a lot of credit for that should go to the Ravi Shastri, Virat Kohli combined when they were the head coach and the captain respectively. They gave him a lot of responsibility. They pushed him up the order. Jadeja started to think that he was a specialist batsman. He started to believe that he could bat higher up the order, and that has that's sparked a remarkable turnaround in his approach to batting. And today I saw a graphic, and he's got a difference in average of almost 14 between his batting average and his bowling average, which is the highest among all-rounders who got 200 wickets and 2,000 runs in Test cricket since 2010. And that just shows what an integral, an important member of this side he is. He's always up for a challenge. Today his approach was so measured and so methodical. He also looked hardly troubled by the Australian bowling, which I must say was very honest, very disciplined. They didn't give anything away except towards the end, like I said, when Murphy and Lyon were tiring. But Jadeja batted like a proper batsman. It was really nice to see him put his head down, and the way he took the second, started playing second fiddle when Akshar Patel came in and started playing his shots. That just shows that the value of batting in partnerships can never be exaggerated.
Right. And how was the pitch? How did the pitch behave, Kaushik? There's been a lot of talk about the pitch, and we have discussed as well. So how was the pitch today?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, a a lot of the times it depends on how the batsmen acquit themselves, and when there is a partnership, then you suddenly feel that the pitch is fine and there's nothing wrong with the pitch, and then a couple of wickets fall, and then it looks like a bad pitch all over again. It's not a bad pitch at all. It's one of those typical Indian tracks where there will be turn. It's a bit on the slow side. The bounce is getting slightly uneven. Not frightfully so, but it is getting slightly uneven, and I suspect it will get worse as the match progresses, which is what you expect in the subcontinent, that there will be natural wear and tear. I thought more than the pitch, the batsmen batted really well. They applied themselves. They didn't have preconceived notions. They didn't fear the pitch like the Australians seemed to do yesterday. And that manifested itself in the manner in which India built their innings. It was not like bang, bang. They scored at less than 3 runs per over, which is fine. And it was a proper test match batting display.
Right. And there were 2 off spinners for Australia, the experienced Nathan Lyon and Murphy outshone his senior pro. How are your thoughts on his debut in 5-wicket haul, Kaushik?
Yeah, I thought he was exceptional. I've not seen an overseas spinner, young or old, bowl so well in his first test match in India for a long time. I know Ijaz Patel came and got 10 wickets, and we've had instances in the past of overseas spinners coming and taking wickets in India. He, for instance, got 12 wickets in Pune on the last tour of Australia to India. But there's something about Murphy. I think he will go places. He's a fantastic bowler. He's got this parallel seam delivery that skids on from round the stumps and goes straight through to the right-hander when you're expecting the ball to turn. His control was amazing. He's only 22 years old. He's played only 7 first-class matches. And then to come and bowl to Indian batsmen on an Indian track where there is help for the spinner, I thought he did a wonderful job. Sometimes what happens when overseas spinners come to India and they find help from the surface, they don't know how to sort of adapt, because it's a bit like when Indian fast bowlers in the past used to go overseas and they found some pace. They used to get carried away. So it's easy to get carried away. But Murphy, he was just brilliant.
Yeah, you mentioned that Australia had only 4 bowlers. Was there anything else they could have tried differently to break the partnership and restrict India much below the score they ended up with?
Well, they tried their best. You can't fault the Australian bowlers for trying. The slowness of the surface didn't help their cause. The fact that India's batsmen are generally used to playing on these surfaces didn't help their cause either. Ashwin, I suppose when Ashwin comes in at number 3 at the end of a day's play, when you think he's a night watchman, so he did a fabulous job up front by batting for more than 1 hour this morning to ensure that there were no early inroads that Australia could make. So that helped India's cause as well, and that pushed Australia back. Of course, they definitely missed the 5th bowling option. If Cameron Green, for instance, had been available, I know he's not a spinner, he's a medium pacer, but he would have brought a different dimension to the bowling, so that was a bit of a loss for them. But yeah, I don't think they could have done a whole lot better. They did their best, but unfortunately, their best was not good enough against the best of Rohit today.
Yeah, one last question, Kaushik. Looking ahead for tomorrow, can we safely say that India is in the driver's seat and in a winning position now with 144 runs on a deteriorating wicket?
Yeah, well, it's definitely advantage India. There's no doubt about it. Australia will need to bat really remarkably well, out of the skills, if you want to say, to make a match effort. 144 ahead. This partnership is already worth 81. Both the batsmen are well set. Hopefully they'll come back after a good night's rest. And India's aim will be to try and bat for as long as possible tomorrow, so that the task that Australia will have gets even more magnified. Australia does have the quality. I mean, they'll be heavily dependent on David Warner, Marnus Labuschagne and Steve Smith to lead their fight back. But if the pitch continues to wear, and if it continues to offer multiple challenges to the batsmen, then I'll be very surprised if they can hold their own against Ashwin, Jadeja and Akshar.
Right. Thanks a lot, Kaushik.